Well, hey there, everyone. My name is Bobby D, and I have one of my bestest friends, auctioneers.
Hi, Lucas Hunt.
And like I was telling Lucas, we don't often have guests in the studio, and he's here hanging out with us for the weekend. Did your last event when?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
How did it go?
I'm done. It went good. It was fun, you know.
Yeah?
A little mishap in the middle. Someone wasn't feeling well.
What do you mean mishap?
Well, there wasn't one of the guests who wasn't feeling well, so we had to pause the fundraising and take care of that, but she was okay.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it was frightening, but she was okay.
Yeah, do you think it affect the fundraising at all?
Yeah, I think it was tough. We had a good feeling, a good vibe going on, and we had to kind of restart. You know how it is, that you have those crucial moments, you know, that are so important. So yeah, there was a little pause, but we got people back, you know, from the bar.
Yeah?
Because that's where people go in times of fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got them back from the bar. So,
For sure.
Yeah. You know, a priest once told me the best way to get money out of someone is to guilt them into giving. But we just used the old-fashioned method, gave them alcohol last night.
Toasted, nicely toasted, right?
Yeah.
So that's happened to me before. It sucks, but it's only happened one time, which has been lucky for me and for you. And
yeah. You know,
it's going to happen.
I mean, the whole point of the event was about caring for other people. And so when that happened, that was a golden opportunity to show that we care for people in the room, you know, care for each other. And it's a family and a community. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what I really love about, especially benefit auctions, charity auctions, fundraising auctions and whatnot. It's bringing that community together.
At the end of the day, it's about people, right? It's not, people are more important than their money.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's people. It's all people. So
it's not going to work without people.
So Lucas, tell us a little bit about how you found your way to the auction world. So not only are you an auctioneer, you're also a poet and an author and a golfer.
A little bit of golf.
Yeah.
Last and least.
Yeah, but how did you find your way to be an auctioneer?
Auctioneering came about accidentally through poetry. A friend had seen me read poetry and called me up one night. Vicky was her name. And she said, you know, Lucas, would you like to join this ladies group? You know, we meet once a year. Would you like to join us? And I thought, oh, sure. What would you like me to do? And I thought, you know, maybe read a couple poems. And she said, no, I'd like you to get on stage, and there's going to be some women that come out in bras, and I want you to point at the bras and then say, there's going to be some people in the room, and just say a number, and then point out at the crowd, and then someone will raise their hand, and then you just say a high number, and then you know, point at someone. I said, whoa, Vicky, are you asking me to auction off bras off models live? And she was like, yeah, hon, can you do it? And I had one of those moments, and it echoed in my head, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? And I thought about it, and I grew up in Iowa in a very auction-oriented community.
Right.
Agriculture, antiques, farm equipment, personal property, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the mayor of my hometown, Bruce Doms, was an auctioneer who went to the Worldwide College of Auctioneering.
Okay.
So I knew the score. I knew the game. And the cause, it was for breast cancer.
Okay. Makes sense.
There were women who were survivors, and they were coming out modeling these bras that local artists had made in the Hamptons. And my mom lost her best friend to breast cancer, and my best friend lost her mom to breast cancer. Okay. So I thought, yeah, I can do it. I can get up and try to help. So from the beginning, it was a mission-based thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being the first kind of chance that you ever had been, you know, an auctioneer, like, was that ever a thought in your mind that might be something you want to try? You think that might be something you wanted to do? I mean, like you said, you grew up in Iowa, right?
Yeah. I grew up in Iowa, but there it was just a curiosity. I didn't think of it in terms of as a marketable skill or something that could actually benefit people, which it does, right?
Oh yeah,
you know, that's the idea, is that we're here to solve problems.
Okay.
And so then I realized, like, oh, I was able to help others, and help solve a problem, you know.
Right.
So that to me was not a necessarily viable career, but it was like a role that I could, if anyone needed me, and that's what happened in the Hamptons, was that my name was passed around through different boards. They did need someone, so
really?
I was happy. Yeah, so I was happy to fill that role for them.
Interesting. So then, how many auctions did you do before the light bulb went off and you were like, I'm gonna identify as an auctioneer? I'm going to call myself an auctioneer.
Ooh. I would say for 5 years I was an apprentice to no one, really, just dallying.
To an apprentice to society, to experience.
Yeah, an apprentice to the powerful women in the Hamptons on boards who needed help fundraising.
Yeah.
And what happened was I invited my best friend and his wife to come to a little art auction that I was doing, and I was moving to New York City from the Hamptons.
Okay.
I think it was about a month after this event, and so they came and they saw me. And they were like, "You've got to do this." And I said, "Oh, no. I just do this on the side.
Do this.
Yeah, this is
like, what was your real job at the time?
I was a literary agent. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was representing authors, selling books for authors, and writing poetry. That was kind of always my connection to philanthropy, was through poetry, through the meaning of words and how important and effective you can be in an economical way.
Right.
Say the most and the least.
I like that.
Yeah. But my friends saw me at this event and they said, "You've got to do this." And I just laughed it off. "You don't understand. This is not something you do." And they said, "No, you don't understand. This is something people do."
This is something.
Yeah. And you would be very useful to them. And so I think that was when the call came. It was like, "Oh, okay." So
Your call to auction.
Call to auction. Exactly. Yeah. And so my best friend's wife, Christina, hi Christina, she said, "Get a business card, get a website, I'll get you a job in the city." And then next thing I know, I'm at the Yale Club, and we're doing a fund a need and an auction, and raising money to help kids that have suffered, abuse. Right. And that's it. That's the click.
Right. And then, how did you find your way into kind of that next level as auctioneer? Because you came at it from a performance, kind of being on stage, having a conversation with the audience, interacting with them there. But then, where did you find out that like a fundraising auction, was truly a profession? Was there somebody that you had seen on the internet? Was there some people that you had met that were like, "Hey, this is what I do for a living"? And then was there like a process that you went through to?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, I took the auctioneer pill.
Okay.
And I grew.
Red pill or green pill?
I took them both, and just the numbers started coming out very fast.
Really?
Yeah, and very colorful. No, I didn't know what it was. I Googled it, right?
Okay.
And you know what was funny back in that time? You'll get a kick out of this. When you Googled auctioneer, Blaine Lotz came up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know Blaine.
Yeah.
Yep. He is my highest rated video on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, 91,000 or something like that.
Yes.
Blaine's awesome. Yeah.
So I'm in the Hamptons doing benefits, and I'm like, people are telling me you got to do this.
Okay.
And so I Google auctioneer, and up comes Blaine Lotz.
Right.
And he looks like young Elvis Presley,
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, but he's talking so fast, and he's in Kansas, and he's selling cows, and I'm in the Hamptons, and I'm getting,
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm from Iowa. I can go from pigs to pearls. I can figure this out.
Nice.
But there was no I didn't know what the path was, I didn't know what the path was. But I got very lucky. I was swimming in Brooklyn.
Okay.
At a community pool, and I heard a guy in the locker room. I heard a guy say, "Hey, CK, how you still doing the auctions?" And it rung a bell.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Oh, that's the guy. I read about him in the New York Times. CK Sweat, auctioneer."
Yep.
So I went up to him after we got out of the locker room, because it's a men's locker room. You don't just jump up.
Kind of weird. Just "Hey, dude."
Yeah. And when you're So after we got out, and I said, "Hey, are you CK Sweat, the auctioneer?" "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm Lucas. I think I'm an auctioneer too." And he just grabbed me and said, "It's so good to meet you. This is such a lonely profession. Welcome."
Nice.
Yes,
it is.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
And that's when I had just moved to New York City.
Okay.
Then he said, "I'm going to Burning Man. I won't be in touch for. You won't be able to find me for
a few weeks.
A week.
Yeah.
But call me when I get back." So then I spoke to him, and that was kind of my first brother. Brother in the business.
Okay.
Brother or sister. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then CK is great friend of mine, great auctioneer, out there in the city doing his thing. You're
Amazing.
doing your thing, and then was there okay, that's good, or was there another like next level to that?
Yeah, I mean, and for me, this has been about building relationships with other auctioneers. Because when I started as a poet.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like what can language do? What can words do to move people? And numbers, I thought, I'm a number rapper,
Yeah, yeah.
1 to the 2, to the 3 to the 4, like speed that up and then you got it. And so at that time, I went back to my roots in Iowa, and Bruce Doms was the mayor of my hometown.
Okay.
And he was an auctioneer. And so I was talking to Bruce and telling him about what I was doing, and he was giving me advice. Kind of like Mr. Miyagi style. He would sit in a lawn chair and smoke cigarettes in his garage, and it would be freezing cold Iowa winter, and I would go in and practice auctioneering. He would test me. And then one day he said, "That's it. I got nothing more for you."
Okay.
I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're my mentor. I need your help to get better and grow." And he's like, "You're done." He's like, "You've learned everything I know. I can't teach you anymore." And I said, "Well, where did you learn how to do it?" He said, Worldwide College of Auctioneering, Mason City, Iowa.
Okay.
So that was my next step. My next level was I went to Mason City. And that's where I really got exposed to the greater world that you know.
Yep. I attended Worldwide in, I think, 2001 or something like that. It was the summer of my senior year in college. So very familiar. Yeah. And
2001. 15 years later.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, junior squad. So I went there and worked with some great people.
Yeah,
and that launched me, to go do the BAS, to go to the summit where we met.
Right.
Which was 2016.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's that it's so crazy how fast. Like, I mean, I feel like such an old dude now. It's like, oh man, time just blows by so fast, and it does. That we met in, what'd you say, 2016?
We met in 2016.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then you sent me off to Janelle and Kathy to get boot camped and all that. And here I thought you were older than me, and I'm older than you.
Yeah. It's, well, you have a young face, and I'm like, look at this guy. Well, and it was really funny. Well, I mean, it was interesting that I was at this, this BAS, we call it the summit. It's a benefit auctioneer summit where it's a bunch of benefit auctioneers that get together.
Auctioneers helping auctioneers.
Yeah. And I had always wanted to go to New York City, and I had heard that there was someone in the class that was from New York City. I'm like, oh, right. Like, I remember meeting you for the first time. I think it was in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah.
And you were wearing these very tall boots.
My cowboy boots.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is a unique individual. I gotta introduce myself to him. And yeah, you stood out, and I was like, okay, you're very cool. So I was like, now I know an auctioneer in New York. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Oh yeah. So we met before the summit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We actually, you were at the conference taking the benefit auction specialist class. Yeah. And then I popped in there and was like, hey, everybody. And I had taken that class probably 10 years prior to that. And, and whatnot. No, it was probably 5 years prior to that. And then had built a business, and then now, it's like, okay, here we are. So it was, Yeah,
now we're colleagues.
And what's really weird, we were actually just talking about this with my partner and my wife, Erin, who is an awesome New York City auctioneer, probably my favorite auctioneer in the world. And we were just talking about how it's so unique, the community of auctioneers in New York City, how unique that community is. Yeah. And I don't know, how does it feel to be a part of that community?
It's the best feeling in the world. Yeah. Because otherwise it can be really lonely, and it's great. Right. It's great having a family, it's great having friends, and it's great having colleagues like you, and CK who've been there, who've known what it's like, because what we do is potentially traumatic.
It is. I think Aaron's therapist had called it empathy fatigue. Empathy fatigue. Compassion fatigue is another thing. Yep.
I don't feel that way, but I know that people feel that way in terms of the crowds too.
Right.
But yeah, I think for me, empathy is a lifeline to always be able to kind of tap in, to tune into what other people are feeling. You know what? I do feel empathy fatigue sometimes, but being around other people who've been there, done that. I was talking about how last night someone fell ill
Right.
at my auction, and immediately I'm texting with friends and you guys, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's like, welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
This
Yes,
is,
it's like you get your merit badge now.
this is what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, you do enough events like that, and it's going to happen. And you're right. It's like, we were in this text thread, and it was like, oh, because I was at the event where it happened with Aaron, and we talked about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that very vividly. And then mine happened this past fall, and he was okay. Gentleman was okay. He got wheeled off. He was waving as he was on his way out. But it's the it's these crazy things that happen at events that you really wouldn't have ever had thought. Like, what's something that like you had seen or experienced, whether you were on the stage and you saw something out in the crowd, or maybe you were in the cocktail hour and something wild happened. Like what?
Oh man. I was a guest actually at one of CK's auctions.
Okay.
And one of the guys who was bidding, as he was bidding, grabbed the centerpiece that where the flowers are.
Yeah.
And drank from the vase. He picked the centerpiece up and took a big drink of water and from
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And CK called him out. He's like, he's like, excuse me, sir, did you just drink from the vase? And he said, yeah, he was that was his thing. He wanted that notoriety. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I later met him actually on a TV show. He's an actor.
Really?
On a TV program called Bull, Bull. Bull.
Okay.
And I won't say his name, but
But that was his thing.
Yeah.
Like drinking out of the centerpiece.
Well, he said he would always do different things because he wanted to draw attention. I mean, he's an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wanted to draw attention to the cause and whatnot. But he asked me, we were on set shooting. I was playing an auctioneer.
Yeah.
And he said, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen at a gala? And I was like, well, I saw this guy get up and drink from the centerpiece. He's like, that was me.
That was.
He does. And he said he always tries to draw attention to the fundraising.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a full circle moment.
That it's so funny how that then does come around like that. I mean, the you and me meeting, 7-8 years ago, and then now here we are, full circle. You say that this is a lonely profession. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had like a person to person conversation with another auctioneer besides Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, we gathered as a group of New York City auctioneers. When was that? Right here. It was pretty much right after Labor Day, right? Like August, September, something
fall.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. But before that, I mean, it might have been, God, I think it might have been a year and a half before I'd actually had a conversation with another auctioneer in person.
Well, our buddy Zach, we always sing that Bob Seger song to each other. There I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I am playing Star again. There I go, turn the page.
Yeah.
Because it has that feel. Zach's always, call him, he's just always in a new place, taking flights, taking cars. And so, yeah, you meet a lot of people, and you're around a lot of people, but you're also with yourself a lot. So,
a lot up here, right?
Yeah, and there, and just the feeling, that there's empathy fatigue, but then I think there's also kind of an empathy, not disconnect, but you're feeling your own feelings a lot, and you're thinking about things, and it's like it's great to be grounded. So, community is so valuable.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing that's ever happened at an auction? Like what was something that really sticks out that maybe you were a part of and you saw some great form of generosity? I don't know. What was your favorite?
There was a woman that asked me to auction her dress off. Yeah.
Really?
Live. Yeah. That wasn't my favorite, but that was challenging.
Okay.
Yeah. I gave that one to Paul. I was like, he was my our head auctioneer. So, Paul, you can handle this. That was just that was strange. But my favorite thing in terms of heartwarming.
Yeah, I mean, or exciting, or thrilling, or auction moment.
I'll tell you what, it's a moment that I realize I've pinpointed that I love what I do, and I have a sort of poetic image of it. It's that when we get up there and people start giving, and to be in our role for me is like we turn on a fountain of philanthropy. We ask people to start giving.
Right.
And that generosity and that spirit comes out, not just in money, not just in the paddles, but
Right.
the energy comes out.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm up there dancing in a fountain of philanthropy, dancing in the fountain, playing, splashing around. Makes me feel like a child because it's so joyful.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that's that moment. And anytime I can, it's different, but anytime we can be a part of, we can be a storyteller.
Yep.
We can be a truth teller. We can
Yep.
stand up for justice.
Yep.
We can ask people to do their best, and give their most, whatever they can. And when the whole room does that and people come together, we're truly greater than the sum of our parts. So
Right.
1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, doesn't equal 4. 1 + 1 equals 10,000.
Yeah.
And you feel that moment add up,
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
like just to be a part of that. So being a part of something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me is like priceless.
It's so good to like stand back after I mean, now not every event's like that, but when
Right.
those magical events happen like that, it gives me goosebumps, and I stand back and I look at like what has just happened. And sometimes it doesn't even click in until like a few days later that I was like, wow, that was,
You don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just thinking I did my job, and you're like, wait, that was actually magic. You
That
know?
was,
so,
yeah.
So I think it's the miracle of human beings when they care about something and witness that, and you see their eyes light up, or just they go there. You see them go when they're watching a video or
Right.
they're hearing a speech, survivor of something, and people just drop into this place where it's like, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna try to make a difference,
Yeah.
and so
I'm going to do something.
yeah, and not everyone is able to do that in their personal lives, maybe, but through your giving, through what you do, there's so much we can do for others that sometimes we can't do for ourselves.
Right.
And so I think that's how we help each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say doing for others or doing for ourselves, like what's next? Like here we are at the end of 2022 and it's been a wild last couple of years, but now looking into 2023, what are you looking forward to, or like what are you looking to hopefully transpire, or to how you would say
Manifest?
that's the exact word I was going to say. Thank you.
All right. I mean, because you were talking about big picture first. We're still, I think, coming out of the vortex of the pandemic.
Yep.
We're still wondering what's going to happen economically.
Yep.
We're still watching geopolitical,
Craziness.
Yeah, Ukraine. We are going to witness the Earth transform geologically.
Yeah. Already is. I mean, here it is December and it should be snowing right now, but it's not. It's 50 degrees and raining.
Yeah. This change, good and bad, is really going to keep happening. So I feel like next year, 2023, and I'm getting married at the end in this month.
Congrats.
So I'm happy, but I think the thing that I'm looking forward to manifesting is like, hey, we're here for each other.
Yeah.
You're a parent. We're going to accept each other. We're going to be there, whatever happens.
Yeah.
We're not going to kick people out of the human club. Like, we're all going to keep working to have a positive destiny. And so I think for me, I'm looking forward to continuing to build a legacy of love in my personal life, in my professional life. And things are going to fall apart. We're going to lose people we love. But new things are going to happen, technology. So I think it's just life, the ever unfolding regenerative process. I think it's just like, what will life have? Because it's not going to be long.
Yeah,
It really isn't.
I know. I keep feeling like there's so many instances where I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting older. Like, we have to wear glasses now to be able to read and do, and do find work, and I'm totally that like grouchy guy. It's like, kids, get off my lawn now, or like, oh, it's getting kind of late. It's 9:30. Probably should go to bed, kind of thing. And I feel the age happen, but then it's the like realizations like, wait a minute, I'm 44 and you're 40 something, 46, and we could be at our half-life.
Yeah.
And or even like before our half-life.
We could be keeling over at a gala.
Yeah, we could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, yeah. So, but then I guess professionally, or in the world of fundraising, or something like that. Like, what I don't know. I mean, maybe is there a crystal ball and say like this is what I see happening with events, or this is the trend that I want to see happen at events.
That is out of my control. What you're talking about, I feel like I'll surf those waves, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not worried about what the waves are
Okay.
until I'm in it. Yeah, I don't think that the last few years have taught me that the prognostications are probably going to be inaccurate.
Okay.
But I think the idea of building on what's been built before and
Right.
looking at the legacies, the foundations, the organizations,
Mm-hmm.
looking at their missions, and just trying to
Right.
carry those messages. I'm going
Right.
to help carry the mission, and looking at each event that we do organically. Where are they? Where do they want to go?
Right.
What do they want, or what do they need? And how can I help?
Right.
How can I help?
Right.
And so, for me, case by case, day by day, night by night, stage by stage,
Yep.
like let's stack it up. That's how great things are built, right? One piece at a time.
Right. And I'll totally agree with you that I do see a transformation happening within events. The events that I've seen that were so successful is where the mission was at the heart of the event. The impact, the individuals that were at the gala, they knew the impact, or they learned about the impact on the night of, and they knew their connection to that.
Yeah.
Where I see it so much moving away from just a party or just a really good time, that the events that are that will be successful in 23 are very, very mission focused. They're very well produced. That it's not like the, how you would say, let's just throw it out there and see what happens. Like that's not okay anymore.
No, and it's got to be, I think, donor specific,
Yeah.
or donor centric.
Yes.
And you got to think about that person that you're hosting and put them first.
Yeah.
You can no longer say, "Oh, it's about us."
Right.
Right. It's about us. It's about our organization. It's about who we are. No, 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 no. It's about them. It's about the person that's coming to support you, and inviting them into the story and asking them to be a part of this change that you're trying to be or see in the world. And so, for me, having the mission-based philosophy and having a donor-centric vision about what you're doing, that's, for me, how philanthropy works now. And I feel like there's always a third thing running around in there too, but a little dust on that. But, yeah. Little zhuzh.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes every event special. I say that each event is a thumbprint upon every organization, in which they're all so different, and they can be so different, and they'll be like, random things, that magic that happens, and we as consultants and as fundraisers and as auctioneers try to help to inspire that. But there are times that things flop, or someone gets sick at the event, and all of a sudden now everyone's in that moment, and all of a sudden now there is an excuse to now step away from that moment, or go to the bar.
Yeah. But I think having a place at the table for the uncontrollable, or for the magic, is important. I think we can set the table, and we can have the mission there, and we can have the donors there, and I think we need to welcome the miracle or the magic or the unexpected as well, because that's where you get great returns. We had no idea this would happen. That's the ultimate manifestation too, is where you leave space for possibility, right?
I like
rather
that.
than trying to control, manipulate, because we can't. We're human beings. We don't have the power. So I think leaving room for this is where we're going to make the magic. This is where the miracle might happen. Or this is how we're going to get all these people together and see what's possible.
Nice.
And you can't do that if you don't show up and you don't ask people and invite people in. So, it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year too. Yeah. Well, Lucas, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us today and letting us learn a little bit more about you. Where can people find you if they want to hang out with Lucas and maybe have him as an auctioneer or as a poet or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think huntauctioneers.com is probably easiest for the fundraising, and then just lucashunt.com if you want to get into my latest book of poems, New York, which is about running around the city and having fun there.
Which I love your poems and your books. I have one in each of my bathrooms.
By the toilet, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's where I do my best thinking, and to have those, it's so cool to know someone that like created this thing in words on pages, and it came from what were thoughts, and then now is very tangible and very shareable, and then I get to kind of see inside of your mind a little bit, which is kind of creepy but really cool at the same time.
One of my first poems, actually, the first poems I ever read, came from a bathroom wall.
Really?
Yeah. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would. I think that's a great way to wrap up the show here.
He who writes on bathroom walls rolls his into little balls. He who reads this tale of wit eats those little balls of... Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
But it always stuck with me. Yeah.
Nice.
You can edit that out.
I love it. I love it. Well, Lucas, it's so good having you here, sharing some time and space with us, and some knowledge and some wisdom here. I think it's time that we go have a meal. And
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Again, my name is Bobby D, and let's go out into the world and be awesome and do what we can, right?
Happy fundraising.
All right. Bye, everyone.